So, in the world of finance, everything's about getting faster, more automated, right? But are we losing something really important along the way? Well, today we're going to look at a pretty powerful new idea that's all about bringing that human element back.
Up and think, doesn't it? It forces us to ask this huge question. In a world that's all about algorithms and automation, what's the actual value of human and first understand the problem it's built to solve? And folks, it's a big one. A real crisis of conscience that's happening right at the heart of finance.
Okay, check this out, because this chart shows a pretty shocking paradox. On one hand, you've got financial tech and commercial pressures just skyrocketing. But at the same time, our moral resilience, our professional integrity, it's been dropping. And that creates this really dangerous gap where our ethics just can't keep pace with all the innovation.
And that gap, well, it leads to something called the compliance trap. You know what I'm talking about. The current system is fantastic at ticking boxes and making sure all the legal forms are filled out, but it's all surface level. It completely misses the deep ethical substance. It's like teaching someone the rules of the road, but never preparing them for a real-life, tricky situation in heavy traffic.
And that drop has a very, very real human cost. It's a total paradigm shift. And that's where the IS on reflection model comes in. It's a completely new way of looking at ethical governance. So what makes this IRM thing so special? Well, it does something really unique. It actually merges two pretty powerful worlds. You've got the structured, repeatable methods from Western cognitive psychology on one side, and the deep, timeless moral principles from Islamic thought on the other. And look, this isn't just some academic theory. This transforms ethics from a dusty old rulebook into an active, daily practice, like a real safeguard for your integrity. Okay, so what does that shift actually look like in practice? Let's break it down real simple. The old way, the status quo, it's all external, robotic, just ticking boxes. The IRM approach, totally different. It's all about building that deep internal moral compass and self-awareness. And let's dive into that a little deeper. The old way is static, mechanized. It basically strips out all human emotion. But the IRM, it's dynamic. It literally demands that you do an emotional and moral audit on yourself. It forces you to look your own biases right in the eye, the ones that can trip you up and lead to really bad decisions. Okay, but how does this engine of integrity actually run? Let's pop the hood and take a look at the mechanics of its six-stage spiral. It all boils down to a super clear six-stage roadmap. You start with just describing what happened. Then you dive into your feelings about it. Next up is evaluation, then analysis, you draw a conclusion, and finally, and this is key, you create a solid action plan. In this spiral, this is the real engine of the whole model. It's not a one-and-done checklist you can just forget about. Nope. It's a continuous loop, like a workout for your moral muscles. It guides you from that initial uh-oh moment of a dilemma all the way to making you stronger and more prepared for the next time. Now lean in for this part, because stages 2 and 3, feelings and evaluation, this is where the real magic happens. Think about it. Most models totally ignore emotions, but the IRM makes you stop and acknowledge stuff like fear, pressure, or guilt. It basically intercepts the crisis before it spins out of control. It takes that raw, gut-punch panic and turns it into a structured, rational evaluation. And what powers the rest of this journey? Well, it's 3 core Islamic principles. First, you have ihsan, and that's all about a relentless drive for excellence in everything you do. Then there's taqwa, which you can think of as a deep sense of accountability, a consciousness that you're always being watched. And finally, adl, which is a powerful commitment to justice and fairness. So when you put these principles into action, the result is, honestly, transformative. It gives you this fast mental framework, this go-to process that empowers you to say no to compromising excellence just for a quick buck. It gives your ethics a real, strong voice, right there in the heat of the boardroom. Okay, so this is obviously powerful for one person, but what happens when you scale it up? Let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture, the impact this could have on the global stage. See, the IRM isn't just a tool for one person. It's designed to be a safeguard for the whole system. Imagine it pumping ethical lifeblood into accounting schools, into the big audit firms, and even into small and medium businesses. The goal is to build a much more resilient, much more trustworthy financial ecosystem for all of us. And that impact can go global. The IRM actually works as a kind of bridge, translating these timeless moral principles into the language of modern business, especially ESG. Think about it. Adil, or justice? That's the G, governance. Ihsan, or excellence? That's the S, social responsibility. And Taqwa, accountability? That's the foundation of transparency. It makes it this incredibly powerful and scalable engine for hitting real, verifiable ESG targets.
And all of this points to a brand new vision for the future of finance, a future where we can actually scale integrity, where we can equip a whole new generation of leaders to lead with their conscience, not just their calculators.
And listen, this isn't just some pie-in-the-sky idea. It's built for commercial scale. The plan is to tap into those huge, booming markets for Islamic finance and ESG. And the delivery? A whole digital ecosystem, offering everything from curriculum licensing for universities to corporate training packages, and even a software platform for ongoing professional development.
The path to get there is a really clear three-stage roadmap. First, you digitize it, make the tools easy for everyone to access. Second, you validate it with hard data and real-world case studies. And the endgame? Full institutional integration, embedding the IRM so it becomes the new gold standard for the entire industry. Because at the end of the day, the ultimate vision here is both simple and incredibly profound. It's about equipping the next generation of finance pros to uphold the highest standards of trust. In Islamic tradition, that's called amana, and accountability. So that leaves us with one final, really big question to think about. In